Welcome to today's Explainer. We are about to unpack one of the most astonishing stories ever recorded. We're looking at a narrative from the source material that didn't just change one single man's life, but literally altered the entire course of world history. It's the story of the Damascus Road, a deep dive into the radical, completely unexpected transformation of a man named Paul. Let's get right into it.
I want you to consider an almost impossible question. What if Christianity's greatest enemy became its most powerful messenger, literally overnight? It sounds like something out of a movie, right? But imagine a man so intensely feared that entire communities actually trembled just at the mention of his name. We're talking about someone completely determined to destroy a growing movement, a guy who actively hunted believers, dragged them out of their own homes, and flat out approved of their executions. Now imagine that exact same man abruptly becoming history's greatest champion of the very faith he was trying to erase. How does a massive turnaround like that even happen? Well, we have to trace his steps.
To understand this monumental shift, we first have to understand the man himself. Before he was known to the world as Paul, he went by Saul of Tarsus. And Saul was definitely no ordinary guy. He belonged to a highly respected, heavily educated, and deeply religious group known as the Pharisees. These guys were fiercely devoted to Jewish law. And here's the thing you really need to grasp. Saul wasn't the villain in his own mind. He genuinely believed he was doing the right thing, defending God's absolute truth. So when Christianity first popped up after the death and resurrection of Jesus, Saul didn't just casually disagree with it, he viewed it as a massive, highly dangerous threat. To him, these followers of Jesus were spreading toxic, false teachings that absolutely had to be stopped at all costs.
And his reaction escalated so fast. Saul wasn't just writing angry letters or debating people, he was actively persecuting these early Christians. As the book of Acts outlines, we see him first standing by, totally approving of the execution of Stephen, the very first Christian martyr, while an angry crowd stones him to death. From there, he starts going house to house, systematically hunting for believers. Men and women are getting arrested and thrown into prison directly because of his efforts. This wasn't just a guy making a few simple mistakes. He was driving real, organized violence against innocent people. His reputation grew so notoriously bad that Christians lived in constant terror of him. Finally, his absolute zeal pushes him to secure official authorization to travel all the way to Damascus just to hunt down believers who had fled there.
So picture this. With his official authorization firmly in hand, Saul sets out on this journey to Damascus. His mission is crystal clear: find the believers, arrest them, and drag them all the way back to Jerusalem for punishment. He is striding down this road completely resolute, fiercely proud, and entirely unaware that a crazy, inciting incident is just moments away from completely upending his entire reality.
Right in the middle of this confident journey, everything just stops. The source text describes this brilliant, blinding light flashing out of absolutely nowhere, from heaven. It is so overwhelmingly intense that Saul actually collapses right there on the ground. And then, out of that blazing light, he hears a voice. It asked him one piercing question. "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" Totally confused, terrified, and now blinded by the light, Saul asks, "Who are you, Lord?" And this response right here perfectly illustrates the ultimate shock of this entire narrative. The answer shatters everything he thought he knew. The voice replies, "I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting." Just let the gravity of that sink in for a second. Saul fully believed Jesus was a dead, false teacher whose movement had to be crushed. And right here, in this exact moment, he's confronted with undeniable evidence that Jesus is actually alive. The very person he thought was in a grave is now speaking directly to him. In a single instant, every assumption, every core belief, and his entire understanding of reality is completely turned upside down.
The physical impact of this encounter is immediate and severe. Saul temporarily loses his sight entirely. His traveling companions, who heard the sound but couldn't even comprehend what was happening, have to literally lead this previously terrifying, powerful man by the hand into Damascus. And for 3 whole days, he is plunged into total darkness. First comes the shock of sudden blindness, followed immediately by thousands of racing questions. This is an intense internal psychological crucible. For 3 days, Saul has absolutely nothing to do but sit in the dark and think. Put yourself directly in his shoes for a moment. Imagine the thoughts racing through his mind on an endless loop. Had he been wrong this entire time? Had he spent years violently fighting against the very God he so passionately believed he was serving? Had the people he dragged from their homes and persecuted actually been telling the truth?
It's a complete and total dismantling of his identity. Now, while Saul is wrestling with all of this in the dark, the source narrative tells us that God is prepping another person for a really critical role, a disciple named Ananias. Ananias gets a vision to go visit Saul, and naturally, he's terrified. Saul's violent reputation was incredibly well known. Visiting him seemed like walking directly into a death trap. But God assures Ananias that Saul has been chosen for a special purpose. Trusting that instruction, Ananias courageously goes. He places his hands on Saul and prays, and immediately, something described like scales falls from Saul's eyes. His physical sight is restored, yes, but a much deeper spiritual clarity has already taken root.
This healing wasn't just physical at all. A massive internal transformation had occurred. The man who marched into Damascus to destroy Christians now desperately wanted to join them. Think about that turnaround. The hunter became the follower. The persecutor became the believer. The enemy literally became the brother. It is a total 180-degree shift.
But of course, we've got to look at this from the perspective of the early Christians who had just been hunted by him. Their immediate reaction? Pure skepticism and fear. Could this just be a trick? Was Saul merely faking this incredible conversion to infiltrate their ranks and identify more believers to arrest? Honestly, their doubts are entirely understandable. People rarely change overnight, let alone someone with a known track record of severe violence against your own community. Yet, Saul's transformation proved to be incredibly genuine. His actions immediately began to match his new faith. He started boldly preaching that Jesus was the Son of God. That exact same passion and stubborn determination that fueled his persecution now fueled his proclamation. The change was so dramatic that people were utterly stunned. And here is the major plot twist. His former allies became so furious at his new message that they actually plotted to kill him. Just like that, the persecutor becomes the persecutor.
But Saul, who would later become known as Paul, absolutely refused to turn back. Over the following years, he traveled thousands of miles across the Roman Empire to share his message. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer authenticity of his conversion. Just think about the physical toll he willingly endured. Severe beatings, unjust imprisonment, dangerous shipwrecks, starvation, social rejection, and constant unrelenting danger. Why on earth would anyone willingly suffer so much? The source material makes it pretty clear, because he had experienced something he could never, ever deny. He wasn't just spreading rumors or repeating stories he heard from a friend. He was actively testifying about an encounter that transformed his life forever.
Paul's enduring legacy is undeniably massive. Much of the New Testament actually consists of letters he wrote to early Christian churches, and his teachings continue to shape the faith of millions around the world today. But the most powerful lesson isn't just about what he accomplished, it's what his transformation reveals about the human condition. The road to Damascus wasn't just a physical journey down a dusty road. It was a journey from hatred to love, from absolute blindness to clear sight, from death to life. It shows us that profound transformation is absolutely possible when truth confronts pride and grace meets a willing heart.
Which brings us to a really provocative question I want you to take away from this explainer today. If God could transform a man who actively approved of murder into one of history's greatest messengers of hope, is any past too dark for redemption? Paul's journey reminds us that people are always more than the worst things they've ever done. It proves that no mistake is too great, no past is too dark, and no life is too broken to be profoundly changed. Nearly 2,000 years later, this source text still inspires us because it proves that a single encounter can truly change everything. Thanks so much for joining me to explore this story today, and keep learning.